live on the internet
Oh, are we just riding the struggle bus today?
with some of the regulars. It's the Geek Show.
And we've got, of course, your broken news. We've got the business of show. We've got a take on Barbie that you won't believe coming up. Stand by after this quickly.
Huzzah.
I can't wait to get into this Barbie thing later.
Neither can I. I'm already speculating.
Very exciting. Very exciting. All right. It's a Geek Show, and we're here. Two of our regular panelists here. Rebecca Frost, of course, right here. Hi, Rebecca.
Do you like my room?
You're in a tent.
It's hot in here.
It's cute. I bet it's hot. Holy smokes.
Did you light a couple of candles to...
Oh, no.
No fire ever again in my life.
She will never. Quad T is here. Too Tall Tony.
Hey, I'm back.
Hi.
Hey, James, thanks for running the show last week while I was gone. I appreciate you stepping in and doing the StreamYard stiff.
Thank you.
Have you caught it yet?
You were running it, and I
can't make me feel worse than I already do. It's fine.
That's all right. And Excitable James is here, our returning champion.
Yay!
Hey, guys. What's up?
right.
I exist. I'm a real person. I'm not AI generated.
Everyone tell him how he looks like Jimmy Neutron.
Boy, genius.
Why would you do that?
Don't forget about our host,
I didn't say it was an
Mr.
insult.
Kerry Jackson.
Oh, hi. Monday through Friday, 6 to 10, x96.com. All right. Let's begin the news. We got another trailer for Loki. This is I believe, the final trailer for season 2. And lots of stuff in there.
This one.
Timey-wimey.
Trailers for this show, because I mean, people are gonna watch. The people that are gonna watch it, I feel like are gonna watch it. You know,
Here's the thing:
I don't see any more convincing.
This trailer broke some records. It was hugely consumed by people, and we got a good look at what's going to happen. I predict, this is just me. I got nothing to base this on. This is just me. I predict this will be our last season of Loki.
You think it's a 2-season run?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's okay. As long as it's 2 great seasons, I am all for it.
But it gives us, a better idea of what the plot of the season is going to be. The fact that Loki is being ripped through time.
I like that he's glitching, like in that movie we like. Spider-Verse.
Candy Crush. No.
Candy Crush.
The Candy Crush movie.
And you went right to Candy Crush.
No.
The opposite of a movie.
What's that game called? It's Disney Pixar. My brain hurts. Why
Kingdom
can't I think of
Hearts?
it? No. What? No.
Oh.
Hold on.
Anyway.
Ralph.
Oh,
Wreck-It
Ralph.
Ralph. Oh.
Yeah, he did the glitchies.
I know,
Yeah.
so-
Okay.
I see the train of thought now.
Also, side note, this picture that's in the background, does the color palette and the way that people are dressed, if they put in Ghostbusters, like the logo, does it look like Ghostbusters to
Well,
you
it does
guys?
kind of feel that way, yeah.
Look at this. Saving the timeline. You've got grown-up Data, and you've got a SWAT guy. You got Mr. Notebook and Wrench, and then Leaf Blower Man.
That's
Who are you going to call?
that's
Leaf Blower Man.
Short Round is there. Ki-Hu Kwan
Yeah.
is also in there. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Whoa, Carrie.
That was me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. It was lunch.
Ate a little
I'm
something.
so sorry.
Somebody's driving in their commute and listening to that, and they're going to be like, what the hell?
I know. Sorry about that. But it looks really cool. Starts on October 6th. Season 2. It's a 6-episode season is all. So enjoy and consume.
This is how shows need to be. Short, sweet, say what you need to say, get in, get out.
Wait,
You know?
did I do a
Still-
bad thing? Is
What?
I can't remember his
K-Hee
name.
Kwan.
Ke-Huy Quan. He played Data in Goonies, right?
Yes, that was his
Okay.
character's name. Yes.
It's like,
I'm
that
over
was
here
him,
like-
right?
I'm over here like, in Star
Next.
Trek?
No.
Yeah, I thought you meant Next Generation, but I was nodding to go along. Yeah.
I'm curious
Yes.
to know what their approach with Kang is now, because they definitely were like, we're gonna just like not really put him in the
Well,
trailer.
I mean, he was in the trailer, but not. There was that statue thing of him.
And like at the end he showed up.
Yeah. And I think that was just also footage from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Yeah, right.
Well, we haven't seen the Disney release anything about the situation.
The situation is that his trial has been pushed back to October 6th, I
Okay.
want to say.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm wondering if Disney is like, okay, because all the actors are on strike, they can't do any promotions for anything, but we can still like release stuff. Maybe it's a blessing that he can't do promotional stuff
You know?
for Loki beforehand, and we can still just go on ahead and release the show.
Yeah.
And
We'll
if-
just forget.
If he has a decent sized part if Jonathan Majors has a decent sized part in season 2 and they've already filmed it all, they'll probably just have to pull a Flash and just keep it, you know?
I don't think that Marvel's going to abandon him.
I don't get the feeling they are either.
I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, no.
I think they're going to do a Flash. They're going to do a... What's his name? Candy Crush.
Michael
Ezra
Keaton.
Miller?
Michael Keaton.
Ezra Miller. They're going to pull an Ezra
Candy
Miller.
Crush.
You know,
That's going to be my go-to now. You know, Candy Crush.
Candy Crush.
All right. You were talking about Star Trek. Everyone has an opinion, I'll say, about Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, the musical episode,
This is the wrong. Hold on.
Subspace Rhapsody.
I found it.
It's a lot of people are talking about it.
Yay.
I watched it last night.
Yay.
It
I-
was quite good.
Incredible. I have 2 people now watching Strange New Worlds for the first time because of this episode.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, so
about
it's bringing
that.
people to church. I'm all for that.
Yes, because like 2 of my friends were like, "Man, I just keep seeing people not only just posting about the musical episode, but about Strange New Worlds in general." And they're like, "Dang, maybe I should watch the show." And I'm like, "Absolutely, you should watch the show. It was my gateway drug. Join me."
Strange
Well-
New Worlds
Like
is the
every
weed of weed of Star Trek.
And I saw our dear friend Dr. Paul White in the chat room there, talking about how he's been listening to that soundtrack over and over.
It was good.
I purposefully did not speed through a yellow light yesterday so that I could keep listening to the soundtrack before I got to where I was going.
You
Star
are
Trek
adorable.
saving lives.
That's when you know it's good.
It's interesting. Subspace Rhapsody is the name of the episode, and Paramount and Lakeshore Records have released an 11-track album dedicated to the musical numbers, from the a cappella take of the main theme to the instrumental melody that plays over its credits. Every song from the cast is there, and you can find it on Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, and Qobuz.
It's also on Spotify.
It is on Spotify. I don't have that listed here.
That's
There
where
is
that's
no-
where I've been listening to it.
That's where you've been listening to it.
There is no barrier of entry for music anymore. I'll tell you that. With the
Yo,
music
you
nowadays
could get
you're
it
listening to,
anywhere at any price point, really.
What was on SoundCloud is now on everything.
And I mean, we can talk about the episode briefly if you want. No spoilers. I mean,
Spoiler, it was amazing. And I know Carrie's not like super jazzed about it, and I don't understand.
Now, I think Carrie and I are in the same.
Tony, no.
Let's see,
No,
Tony.
no. Hang on. I think Carrie and I are in the same mindset in that we don't like musicals.
well, there's that. But
Okay.
here's the thing:
However,
is
that
here-
being said, I really, really liked it.
but also,
really liked it.
also that being said, a couple of my favorite things are musicals: The Blues Brothers, Rocky Horror Picture Show, musicals.
Okay, maybe I'm more of a musical hater than you are.
But I
not
no
a
see,
contest.
there's a handful. Sweeney Todd, I like Sweeney Todd. So there's a handful of musicals that I really like. This one, the skill that they showed, the fact that they did it, kudos. I give you hands. Great job, really, really, really. I
For
just,
the butt.
Yeah, he's giving
No.
props for having completed it.
I
Great
think
job,
you.
guys.
No,
You
they
did it.
did a great job. And if you
Oh,
enjoy this,
okay.
hey, terrific. For some
If I don't
reason,
get credit for it, does it exist?
exactly. For some reason, when it was done, I went, okay. I didn't hate it. No,
Oh.
I think the
thought
question is, could you
Okay,
consume a
alright.
show that is only that, though?
I could not. No.
Exactly.
You know what?
Well,
Actually, I
no,
take
like,
it
that's why
back
I didn't
because
watch Glee, okay?
I actually really enjoyed Gallivant of all things.
I love
and that's a musical show,
Gallivant.
so I guess maybe I'm not as much of a musical
Crazy
hater as I
Ex-Girlfriend?
thought.
You watch Crazy
I
Ex-Girlfriend?
liked
I
Crazy
did,
Ex-Girlfriend. That was a funny show.
Yes,
All right,
yes,
well,
exactly.
Maybe I'm going to eat crow a little bit here.
But
Eat
with
that
Crazy
crow,
Ex-Girlfriend, there were
Tony.
only like maybe 2 songs an episode.
There was, like, 2 songs an
It wasn't
episode,
as
yeah.
much in Crazy
But,
Ex-Girlfriend.
But no, I enjoyed this, and kudos to these guys for pulling it off. I don't know if I'll listen to the soundtrack. I did like the character exposition that we got out of it.
It was
because
good,
that's what musicals do really well, is you get, you understand
Well,
the character through their
You
exposition
got
through song.
And
La'an and her "I Want" song is so heartbreaking. Which she's a professional musician. I didn't know that until
Oh,
this
yeah,
episode.
she's a singer.
a professional singer. And then Uhura, the voice of the Enterprise, her song, Chapel's breakup song with Spock, and Spock's like, "Oh no, I guess I misunderstood. I guess I misread our entire relationship song."
yeah.
Because I mean, a lot happened in this episode. I mean, there were a lot of character development, and I appreciate that. I really
Well,
do.
The way
And
Captain Pike looks like he just wants to die every time he has to sing.
I loved that. One of my favorite things, and I guess it's my favorite musical anything is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode of the musical.
The musical.
That's a good one.
I super loved that one. I actually bought that soundtrack. I liked it.
Oh,
that
you
much.
did?
I did.
Oh.
Now, what I love about that one and this one is the fact that the characters are fully self-aware of what's going on, and that they're singing, but they shouldn't be singing, and that the singing is causing them to bear their emotions and feelings out to a point where they never would if it weren't for this
And
situation.
that very first song
I love
too,
it.
where Pike is like, "What is happening? Why is there singing?" And then like everybody's singing, and then La'an comes on. And he's like, "Okay, La'an can tell me. La'an will explain this." And then she starts singing, and he's like, "Oh no!
Oh, no.
If they got her, like
Yeah.
we're doomed."
And let's
was
not
really
pretend
good.
like
I
this
liked
is the first themed episode, too,
Oh,
right? Like,
yeah,
they did a
exactly.
medieval
No, of course not.
Renaissance one, a couple of episodes.
Anybody
last
who
season, yeah.
anybody who complains about this season of Strange New Worlds trying to do these different things, go back and look at the history of Star Trek. It's been done, all right.
So
That-
one of my
that-
friends,
yeah.
one of my friends that decided that he wants to kind of give it a try. He was like, "Is this episode like they're jumping the shark episode?" And I'm like, "No, it is impossible for Star
No.
Trek to have a jumping the shark episode
Yep.
because
It-
this
yeah.
is their whole deal. Their whole deal is doing something different."
What I thought was brilliant though was that the first song, "Situation Normal" or whatever it's called, is essentially the lines of every bridge crew member in every series. It's like all
the
of these
cliche ones, yeah.
all the cliches. Every bridge crew member has said these lines 1,000 times, and they made a song about it, which I thought was kind of cool.
So
I'm
good.
I'm excited for the dubstep remix once we get done.
Get on
I
that.
just can't
Or can we
give
talk?
it more
Can we talk?
power.
There's a moment at the end that I don't really want to spoil, but
Well, let's not spoil it then, because the episode only came out like 3 days ago.
We can
so-
talk more about this in the after party.
After
How about
party.
that?
Yeah,
and
okay.
and with full spoiler warnings in the after party. We can gush
Full
about
frontal spoiler warning.
Yeah, we can gush about this season of Strange New Worlds if you want in the after party. That's geekshowgotthiscovered.com. And you can watch the live after party after we get done with this. It's right there for you. Speaking of our Patreon, just real quick, I can't get into specifics, but if you want to get in on that $3.50 a month deal tier, act now. That's
Do
about
so
all I can
Orange
say.
sold out.
rather than later.
Yeah, do so now, better than later. Changes are coming to the Patreon.
Fun
So-
updates, etc., etc.
Exactly. So Tony was part of that conversation last night. So if you want to get in at that $3.50 a month deal, do it soon. That's at geekshowgotthiscovered.com. A couple of quick things, real quick. First of all, yes, next week we're live at Broovies for the show. It's a Geek Show in conjunction with the Space Show, showing Wrath of Khan, the director's cut, at Broovies on the 12th.
Yeah.
That's next Saturday. Doors at 11:30, the pod at noon, and the movie at 1. Pay what you want. There will be more exclusive merchandise available there, including a fashion doll-themed bit of merchandise.
You guys
That
can't even.
Are you finally
Can't
getting
even
your bobblehead you've wanted all these
fathom.
years?
We're finally getting Polly Pocket socks.
We got Bratz themes shirts.
you're gonna love it. And as far as our merch store, it's coming. So if you see a merch store for Geek Show out there, that's not us.
We'll let you
don't
know.
buy from them. Yes.
when it's us.
Also, a little bit of I want to thank everyone who is listening, watching, enjoying Geek Show, because according to our new numbers, I'll just put it that way, since the beginning of the year, our downloads have gone up so much. And it's not just Geek Show Podcast. It's not just this show. It's the Space Show. It's Help Desk. It's Arcade. And so we want to thank you guys for listening more to us and more often. And thank you for spreading the word of this church that we all belong to, and bring in some more people. Why not?
Yeah, there's
People
always room
need
for more.
People need saving. So
My cult needs more people.
yes, yes, indeed.
You've been watching Praise Petey? You should check out Praise Petey.
I watched that. Oh man, is it about? Oh, it's about cults.
There's
But Evan,
it's a comedy, animated comedy about a cult leader that's voiced by Annie Murphy.
Right.
It's quite funny.
I know. I've just been watching a lot of stuff about polygamy.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
All right.
I live
well,
close to it.
We can go down that road if you want, I guess.
All right. Well, let's.
What do you want to know?
We'll
James, we'll talk later.
in the after party.
Okay.
Maybe we'll talk about it then. Let's get on to more news. Is anyone watching? No, not yet. Disenchantment.
Oh, I have that one too,
Go
though.
away. Make it go away.
Disenchantment. We'll get there.
Yep, there you go.
I've watched everything up to the newest season.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
I
I
watched
liked
the
I like
first
Disenchantment.
season.
And
Yeah,
and
it's
Tony,
good. Like
you're-
I watched the first season with high hopes, but
okay.
you know.
Well, Disenchantment will end with season 5 on Netflix. So let's see. It will return for its final run of 10 episodes on the 1st of September, just so you know. The series originally landed at Netflix with a 20-episode order before being renewed in 2018 for a second batch of 20 installments. Rather than calling each run of 10 episodes a season, Netflix has split the orders and billed each batch as a part, which is a tactic that many networks and streamers employ in a bid to avoid standard pay raises for creatives and stars. I learned this week. So that's why you get the split seasons on the streaming shows. They're doing it to rip off the creatives, which I found fascinating. I did not know that. But anyway, you get your final season.
I don't know why you guys are so against big corporations making all of the money. I personally like the way that they're dictating my life.
that you,
and taking away
Zaslav?
The ability for me to buy a reasonable house in this.
Zazav AI.
Can you guys
His
say that
last
into my
name is-
microphone? What'd you say?
His last name is James Zaslav. Is his last
Oh
name?
no.
Excitable James Zaslav.
You can't prove that with science. Can't prove it. Fake news.
What is science anyway? Hmm?
Exactly. Also,
real person.
this is for the Spooky Time Club. Scream 7
Yeah, boy.
is going to be directed by, and this is why I'm excited, because I really enjoyed the Happy Death Day movies. It's going to be Scream 7 is going to be directed by the guy who directed the Happy Death Day movies. Christopher Landon is his name. He also made, I know Rebecca liked this show, Freaky,
Yes.
with
That's
the Vince
why
Vaughn.
I'm glad he's doing Scream 7 because Scream 7 is a franchise that I'll admit I am way behind, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, it's very aware of what it is. And like that's why you need a guy like this guy who understands the tropes and how to play with those.
And he,
So
you know,
as some,
he's a
yeah,
writer
as
from
somebody
way
who's
back.
if I've never seen any of the Scream movies, can I get an elevator pitch for Scream?
No, not from me.
Because I've seen Cabin in the Woods. Is it Cabin in the Woods adjacent?
No,
No,
it's
it's like one of the first teen slasher movies where anybody could die. Right, because
And-
like in the very first Scream, you have Drew Barrymore there, and you're like, "Oh, Drew Barrymore's in this horror movie, great!" And then she dies in the first 5 minutes. So, and it's the first like real slasher movie where the killer is inside the house, right? The killer is part of your friend group, and it could be anybody.
Yeah. And one of the tropes of Scream, and I'll probably get this mangled, I wish that my producer Katie was here, she'd be able to explain it better than I would, is that the murderer adheres to the rules of all established horror movie rules.
Aggressively.
Yeah, he adheres to all of the tropes.
You can
So-
only attack teenagers having sex in the woods.
That's
Obviously.
one of them. That's one of them.
The virgin has to survive.
But if someone walks away alone, they will get killed. You know, I mean, the murderer is a horror movie fan, and so he's following the rules of
So,
horror.
so I watched the first movie for the like I've never seen them before until like I think last year, and I knew going in that the first movie had 2 killers. I'm sorry, this is spoiler for Scream.
That's like
but,
20
You
years
don't,
old.
yeah, you don't deserve a secret
Yeah.
or a
But,
surprise ending.
But you know, the movie opens and it's this guy calling Drew Barrymore and interrogating her about horror movies, right? Like being a real gatekeepy douche about it. And then the next scene introduces, Nev Campbell and her boyfriend, who is also being an annoying douche about horror movies. And I'm like, oh, he's the killer? And my friend was like, how did you figure that out? And I'm like, because Ghostface was being aggressively annoying about horror movies, and then the first time we meet this guy, he's being aggressively annoying about horror movies. It's kind of obvious.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, and it's because it's old, like back then
yeah.
that was a new trope, kind
Yeah,
of.
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
It's like
Which
it's like
is-
when I read Dune, I was like, I've read a lot of books that do this stuff better.
Yeah.
And then I had to realize Dune was one of the
the first,
first
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
So that's
And
why it's
it's like
and
foundational.
that's why the Scream movies had to keep evolving and changing.
Yeah.
And otherwise it would just be the same old thing.
I just like how Rebecca went a beautiful mind on it. And she started like seeing through the opaque woodwork.
Just like, yeah.
Okay,
The lines and the newspaper
They're,
clippings.
they're quite good, actually, the Scream movies. All right, here we go. This I found interesting as well. It's without a lot of breaking news because of the strikes and everything, I've been digging into other things, and I found that a lot of the beliefs we have, James, are not actually true.
Oh my gosh, did you find religion? Where are we going? Tell me. Where?
No.
I'm excited.
I'll dress
for this
however you want me to
Where's
dress.
this conversation going, huh?
I'll
Because
move into
if,
whatever apartment complex you want.
no, listen, if I were to say Pixar Elementals, the new movie, was it a success? If I ask you that question, you would say no, right? It's actually quite successful.
I don't know what to believe anymore because of the funnels that social media has pushed me into.
Exactly.
And I'm a sheeple
Echo
now.
chambers.
Again, I'm on the
Exactly.
big corporation side of this.
There's social media, and then there's facts. And the facts are that Elemental is actually a successful Pixar film. And it's funny because you don't see a lot of talking, people talking, but word of mouth is making this movie successful. It cleared the $400 million mark at the global box office on Tuesday, became the first Hollywood animated movie based on original IP to do so since before the pandemic.
Are the Elements original IP?
It's
Water,
technically
fire. I've heard of it before.
it's
I've heard of it
technically
before.
considered original IP.
God owns the trademark on those.
Not true. Not original IP. I originally saw it in Captain Planet with the rings and that one guy that got gypped that was the heart. Unless there's a heart in Elemental, I don't.
He
believe
was
it.
the most
Airbender.
powerful,
The last
James.
Airbender. Didn't last Airbender
That's
have
what
a monopoly on the elements?
You guys are ruining Carrie's story.
Sorry.
Sorry, Carrie.
Tack Blueberry in the chat room says, "Did that even happen? That movie?" Yeah,
That's the
it's-
thing. It feels like it came out and it was
Exactly. It's still happening. It's still in theaters. As of Tuesday, a domestic tally of 146.2 mil, and that's 257.5 mil overseas. Worldwide, 403.7 mil. So Elemental is well ahead of last year's Lightyear, which I think me and Rebecca were the only ones that liked it.
I liked it.
You like Lightyear?
I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was a
fine.
good time. Yeah.
It was a movie and it was fine. But that's the problem is with the economy now. I don't know what these box office number. I don't know what they're looking for. Apparently,
Yeah,
they
I was
It's
gonna-
spend
that
more
economy.
on
The thing
Secret
about
Wars than they did Oppenheimer. And I'm
Elemental,
confused.
what I think Elemental has going for it is it released at the very beginning of the summer when school was getting out. And the thing about Elemental, it has been a slow build to how successful it has been.
Yeah.
Which means you have kids like all summer long. Like this movie, I think, is still in theaters.
It
Like,
is.
And that's because, parents are still taking kids to go see it, like as stuff to do.
They're just like,
People are- yeah.
what have we not watched yet? We need to get out of the house.
But it's
Oh,
okay.
so I
There's
guess.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is out
Well,
now,
and-
so you should go see that.
Yeah. Elemental
There's so
held
much
in
stuff that compete with it. Sorry.
Elemental held in week after week. It enjoyed one of the top multiples of any Pixar title in the history of North American box office. Quickly surpassed The Flash, which opened over
Oh,
the same
what a shocker.
opened over the same June weekend.
I get
to-
the pun. Quickly
to-
surpass the flag.
Yeah, that's a pun.
Opened over the same June weekend. Flash and Elementals to far bigger numbers, but to date has only earned 107 mil domestically and 268.3 mil globally. That's The Flash. So Elemental is doing well everywhere, and it just opened this weekend in Japan. So
And I think part of it too goes back to kind of what James was talking about, where what is our metric for successful anymore? In the public eye, I think we've been so skewed by billion-dollar box office movies that we don't think a movie's successful unless it makes like $750 million.
Exactly.
Anything underneath that, we're all just like, it didn't do as much as Avatar.
But,
you know,
it's the people who have seen it said, "Wow, I was really surprised. It was really good. Everybody told me it wasn't." And the people who were telling you it wasn't were looking at the initial box office receipts.
Well, they're also not advertising it as what it actually like is about. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
actually a really good movie about like relationships
immigrant
between
story.
different races. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not advertising that.
No,
Re-
because well,
Between
that's
the
woke.
elements?
So
Yeah.
see the
interesting.
water guy and the fire lady. See
They're
I would like
different.
to see them combine.
And you know, like
and see if
people
it
who
gets
are
steamy.
different from each other, they don't like that.
exactly.
It's
It's
like
an
a
immigrant
metaphor.
story.
I
Yeah.
don't have no problems with the water person living in my neighborhood. I don't got no problem with that. I just don't want them dating my fire daughter. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I
My
think
hands
you
are up
just
here.
summed up the movie.
You did
Yeah,
actually.
that's the movie.
That's the plot. It's
I
Romeo
have
and
$1
Juliet.
million
It's
now.
yeah,
I
it's
have
a lot of
ideas.
things.
Wait until you see my mattress idea.
What if mattresses had feelings?
You know they have feelings and they've seen stuff. Okay, it's a mattress therapy movie.
All right. Let's see. We found out who bought the Magic the Gathering One Ring card.
Yes, we did.
We did
And
find
he's
out
a
who
Utah
bought it.
resident.
And he's a local boy made good. He is
Well,
Post Malone.
he didn't buy it originally.
No, he did not.
Well, he bought it after it was found.
Yeah.
He was just waiting. He had his RSS feed set. So he would
Now I
get
thought-
that note.
I thought, is this guy just buying it because it's what it is, or
Oh, no.
is he buying
No,
it because he's Post
he's-
Malone?
He's
it
a
turns
huge
out,
nerd.
yeah, I found out he loves Magic the Gathering.
He built he's a huge nerd in like so many different aspects. Didn't he build like a Fallout compound out in like the Utah desert?
Oh yeah, he's a total nerd, and he paid over $2 million for it.
Yeah.
for the One Ring card.
Can you imagine the return on investment on that guy right there next to him? That
Yep.
just got his arm around. He bought a
Oh,
pack
yeah.
of cards for, I don't know, $50, whatever they were selling those special bundles for. Turned around in a week and sold it for over $2 million.
Yeah. Post Malone apparently just recently acquired a print of Chris Rush's artwork for the Black Lotus card. He paid $800,000 for that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how much of a nerd this guy is.
That's another super rare Magic card, Black Lotus.
So yeah, I'm glad that a nerd got it, because
Yeah,
I thought
imagine
for
using your
sure.
powers for good.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was going to be bought by some tech bro and put up in his trophy case or whatever, and point at it to say,
next to the corpse of the X logo that they had to take down from
Exactly.
the building in
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Exactly.
She gets it.
She does. All right. Let's get to the business of show, shall we? These two guys seem to do and say stupid things a lot, don't they? I'm talking about Stephen Amell and Zachary Levi.
Ghostface and
Not those
Ghostface
guys.
and the director, no. The one that you kept going to. Zachary Levi and
Skags.
Stephen Amell. These guys
Sag
seem
Jags.
to...
Sag Jags.
Yeah, they seem to say and do things that get themselves in trouble, and then they wind up apologizing for it. So Stephen Amell was at GalaxyCon in Raleigh, and he talked about the strike. And he says, I feel I'm insulated in Hollywood because that's where I live. I feel like a lot of people in this room aren't aware of the strike. I support my union. I do stand with them, but I do not support striking.
Dope.
I think that it's a reductive negotiating tactic, and I find the entire thing incredibly frustrating.
Dope.
So you don't stand with your.
Just
Yeah.
just have your
Well-
bad opinions and keep them to yourself.
So-
I was going to say the same thing, Rebecca. I was like, sometimes
Exactly.
just don't say nothing. I
So-
mean,
Do we need his opinion? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that he's at a
It was-
con and he can't talk about any of the projects he's worked on. So
Right.
they got to talk about something when they do a panel.
and that
which
was
is-
obviously a question that was lobbed to him for an easy home run where you say, yeah, support the actors, striking, we need to do it.
And there's tons of
instead,
stuff to talk about.
just takes a big
Favorite
old
color?
L.
Yeah.
Toothbrush type.
So much stuff.
So
Oh my gosh.
it was like the next day after that audio was released online, the next day he got on his Instagram and had to clarify.
Yep.
If you have
you
to
know.
clarify it all,
So he says, I don't support striking, I don't. He says, what this means in full context. I understand fundamentally why we're here. My off-the-cuff use of the word support is clearly contradictory to my true feelings and my emphatic statement that I do stand with my union. No.
Webster's dictionary defines support as...
And,
As person who...
and this... I mean, I've interviewed him a couple of times, and he seems like a nice enough guy, but...
Well, you know what's so funny is I have learned after this that apparently, like, nobody in the Arrowverse likes him.
Apparently,
really?
yeah.
Well, yeah, and they're just like, yeah, this guy blows, and so there's going to be on the picket line an Arrow reunion picket on Friday, August 11th, where a bunch of the writers, actors, and fans are going to join the picket line, and there's going to have like limited edition Arrow bucket hats, with all proceeds going to healthcare for industry crew members throughout the union solidarity, whatever. So like the rest of the Arrowverse is like, forget this guy.
And then the anti-vaxxer Zachary Levi stepped up.
As he did
Hold
not
my-
want to be challenged.
Hold my beer.
It was like he saw what happened with Stephen Amell and he said, hold my beer. And again, it's an offhand remark that he made at a con. He just... Anyway.
Celebrities
When
are
he
going to
was
start
doing
stop going to cons because they get in trouble. They're going to stop going.
Yeah. He says, I'm not
Yeah.
allowed... He says, I'm not allowed to talk about this is so dumb. I'm not allowed to talk about any of my previous work. I'm not allowed to talk about movies that I may have been a superhero in. I'm not allowed to talk about TV shows that I may have been a nerd who worked at Best Buy. I'm not allowed to talk about any animated princess movies that I was fantastic in as the best prince ever.
Fantastic in?
As the best prince ever, I'm not allowed to talk about those things.
Wow.
Why would you say these things?
The humility.
He's just,
the
he's one of these...
humility.
He's one of these guys that have people around him who keep saying, yes, Zachary, everything you say and do is right. And
ouch.
he believes it, And then he
good.
goes online and he goes down the Joe Rogan hole, and you never know what happens there.
Stay out of Joe Rogan's hole.
Exactly.
Making the frogs gay.
So then he had to release a statement. Oh, no, I fully support. Let me be clear.
Anytime you have to be like, listen, I'm not a racist. But it's like prefacing the words that
Exactly.
as somebody who like says a lot of stuff, there's times to not,
Yeah. My
especially
favorite
when
thing-
they're optional. You know what I mean?
I'll say so. I'll be like, no, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk right now. And then I always follow it up with, but I'm right about to sound like a jerk. And then
Yeah.
I'll say whatever I'm going to say.
and the less you say, the better. Just,
Yeah. Yep.
and it should have been just, I support my union. That's all you needed to say, guys. That's all.
Yeah. You got to be a little more self-aware, folks.
Yep.
Well,
All right.
let's say that he believes that he's right. What is to be gained?
Another
It's
good
only
point,
to
James.
be lost.
Yep.
You know.
Another good point.
And so this is going to be interesting in cons going forward. Who else is going to screw up big time? All right.
The next, I'm Spartacus person. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, we've talked about this on this show, about the AI in Hollywood replacing extras. And Mike found this story on NPR. It's happening.
What
It's
am I supposed
already
to put up?
happening.
What's the picture for this one?
I don't know if you
I
had
have
one.
it. It's the WandaVision one.
If you put up a picture of me, I swear,
okay.
I'm
After
not
4
AI.
weeks of working as a background actor on WandaVision during
I
the
would have got it
pandemic,
if I'd have waited 2 seconds. Dang it.
Well,
Alexandria
it also says it's also labeled extras, and they're all
Yeah.
numbered.
Alexandria Rubalcaba was told by the production crew to report to a tractor trailer. Dozens of other background actors were wrangled to the same site where, one by one, they were told to step in front of a series of cameras on metal rigs behind glass. Have your hands out, have your hands in, look this way, look that way, let us see your scared face, let us see your surprised face. These were the instructions that she was given. The actors had their faces and bodies scanned for about 15 minutes each. Then their digital replicas were created. Here's the thing. She was never told how or if this digital avatar of herself would ever be used on screen. Now, if it is used, she might never know as well. No matter what happens with it, she'll never see any payment for that. They're using her likeness, her image, and she won't see any. And that's part of what the unions are striking against. This is already happening, apparently. She's paid $187 a day as a background actor, and now they don't have to pay that. They can just make fake ones from people that they've scanned. You know,
Well, if you're
Well, if
going
you
to
look
be
at this
tricksy
picture, go ahead,
and a
James.
dick, no, I was going to say if you're going to be tricksy and a dick about it, like at
Dick
least
tricksy?
be like tricksy in a way that respects the people. Like do it in the TSA scanner and be tricksy about it. You know what I mean? Is this
Do it in the TSA scanner.
Yeah, dude, you're already doing this thing, and half the time I'm scared because I'm like, what's in there? What's in me right now?
Do I have
didn't
a
put
bomb
anything
on
weird
me?
in there.
Did I forget and I accidentally packed my bomb?
I haven't checked my rectum lately. What's up?
What did I touch?
I packed 18 pairs of underwear in case I shit myself twice a day, but did I remember to not pack
I told
my
you that in
bomb?
confidence, Rebecca.
That doesn't look sus at all. 18 pair of underwear.
Well, it's like when you're packing, when you like overpack on underwear, because like if you're planning on shitting yourself twice a day.
I have the opposite problem.
I'm
I get there,
planning
I'm like,
on
I gotta go by Target.
Different vacation styles, I think.
I'm sorry. I've got a
I
1 o'clock
I
shitting myself
overpack-
appointment. I'm,
Back in a minute.
I overpack on my clothes because I like to have options.
also in the business of show, Hasbro is selling its film and TV assets to, let's see, is it Legendary? It's the E1 film and TV studio that they have created. They're selling it to Lionsgate. That's it, Lionsgate Entertainment by year
that's
end
weird.
for about $500 million.
Like a Lionsgate Magic the Gathering movie makes sense, but trying to think of like a Lionsgate Monopoly movie, we already had that. It's Wolf of Wall Street, man. He went directly to jail.
I don't know that he went directly to jail.
He passed go a few times.
Yeah.
The E1 business is made up of about 85% of the company's entertainment segment revenue last year, according to Hasbro on a post-earnings call. With the sale of its E1 film and TV business to Lionsgate, Hasbro is dodging a bullet in terms of the content pipeline, it says here.
Oh?
The toy maker said its
Content pipeline is such an icky phrase.
I know, I hate it. The toy maker said margins at its entertainment segment are expected to slide due to the strike, as well as the $25 million charge it took from the lackluster performance of Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves at the box office. So that was a good movie. Y'all didn't see it.
It was.
And,
It was a great movie.
and now this happens. So
I
was a
wish
good
I
movie,
want a
but-
sequel so bad.
If you're launching a studio or at least trying to start a strategy with Dungeons and Dragons, that's kind of a deep cut. Like start with something surface level. Like you're trying to appeal with to people that color with crayons with a closed fist. So maybe start a little bit more simple.
Well, the big moneymaker in this picture, nobody's even talking about here, is definitely the My
Peppa
Little
Pig.
Ponies right there.
Oh yeah.
The bronies, they spend money like crazy
Oh,
for
they
that
do,
My
yeah.
Little Pony stuff.
all right,
And we've
let's,
had several My Little Ponies movies, if I'm not mistaken, and they did okay.
I think they
right?
do all right. I know the toys sell well. While we're on the toy subject, this is the Barbie story I couldn't wait to share with you, and especially Rebecca.
Yeah, boy.
More than a week after the release
Whoa.
of the Barbie movie,
Tony, why is your brightness so bright?
I know,
Do you have
I don't
HDR
know.
turned
It
on?
doesn't look like that on my screen, only on the thingy.
So social media is full of scores of women who say they deeply reconsidered their relationships after seeing the film. In the Am I the Asshole subreddit, am I the asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend over the Barbie movie? She shared her story of how her boyfriend complained to her about the movie's feminist themes after they left the showing. On TikTok, another woman said the Mattel movie inspired her to break up with her boyfriend after a string of bad behavior on his part. She said, "Thank you, Barbie, for empowering me and giving me the confidence, making me realize I deserve better."
Amen.
Teresa Arzate of Dallas shared on Twitter that her ex-boyfriend's reaction in the theater was just the push she needed to call it quits.
Wow.
He's a good guy, she said, but they were having issues long before seeing the movie. Their lived experiences are pretty different, and the Barbie movie highlighted just how differently they viewed the world. I was so invested in the movie that I really didn't even recognize how he was perceiving it until he asked 2 or 3 times throughout the movie, "Are you crying?"
Oh man.
After the movie, we amicably came together to recognize that we're just not on the same wavelength. We could argue till the end of time that of what gender/sex has a tougher time going through life. Barbie helped me graduate out of the cycle of overextending myself into spaces or around people I don't truly resonate with, to get myself back into discovering what I want out of life. Elsewhere on TikTok, women are sharing how they plan to use "What did you think of Barbie?" as a litmus test for dating.
Wow.
It's so good. That's
Yes.
so good.
Now, it should be noted that plenty of men passed the test easily, and they even dressed up in pink to go to the movie, sympathizing with their girlfriends after seeing it. It says, if you go see it with a guy who says, Ken did nothing wrong, patriarchy is good, then you need to get rid of them.
It's a pretty big red flag right there.
According to TikTok. Let's see. Melanie from Florida posted on TikTok about how she hopes straight women use the movie to get a read on the men that they're seeing. She also recommends Gone Girl for this as well.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, I mean, also Gone Girl. Like, there's no winner. There's no good people.
I was gonna
in that
say,
movie.
No.
yeah, like that's like
liked-
the equivalent. If unless I'm misremembering it, isn't that like the female equivalent of the Joker movie, where it's like
Gone
the
Girl?
Joker's not
I
technically
mean-
like kind of not wrong, but like also
Not
you probably
right?
shouldn't shoot people. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably
I
should.
don't know that I would make that comparison.
I still haven't seen the Barbie movie, so I can't do the metaphors.
Well, now, here's some more. It says, I don't think every man needs to be as excited or want to see the Barbie as much as their partners, but I think a guy should be able to set aside 2 hours to see a movie that's important or exciting to whoever they're dating without putting it
absolutely.
down or complaining about it.
Yep.
I do think if a guy has a strong negative reaction just to the idea of seeing the movie or feminine interest, that's a red flag. A mental health counselor in Ohio, Ali Friedstein, says, while nobody needs to enjoy the exact same entertainment as you, it's reasonable to expect basic respect and decency from a romantic partner in the way they talk about things that emotionally affect you. Here she says, there is a significant difference between I don't like that movie, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, versus I hated it because it was woke garbage. Mm-hmm. Good point. Let's see. Her own boyfriend had a lukewarm review of the film, which she saw with a bunch of her friends. Other women who saw the movie gave props to Greta Gerwig for capturing the many real experiences of women dating in their relationships, having to sit through the Godfather trilogy. I'm glad they brought this up.
Having
So
to
many
sit
women.
through The Godfather, having a guitar played at you for 4 hours.
Yes, but
These are my
when-
moves, Rebecca. What else do I do?
But
Oh,
I
I can't wait to
realized
see this movie.
I did the same thing when I was younger. I wanted to have my girlfriend watch the Godfather trilogy with me while I sat and,
Watched
made
her
Talk
watch
through
points.
the whole movie.
Talk
Yeah.
through the whole movie. I did the same thing with Sue with Apocalypse Now, which she hates me for now.
Oh, I can't wait for you guys to see this movie.
My wife and daughter went to go see it, and they came back. They loved it, like absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I realize I did that when I was young and dating. But now here's on the Reddit thread that went viral. One viewer detailed how the movie led a guy to break up with his girlfriend because of Barbie. He realized he needed to be less dependent on his girlfriend for validation.
Oh my
Wow.
God! The
Said-
man understood the movie perfectly.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Yeah, he says, believe it or not, this realization shook me. I had been clinging to the comfort and support that she provided, blind to the mounting issues, until
That's incredible. Like he
saw.
literally got the message of the movie. That's
Exactly.
fantastic.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yes.
Hot take. Here's the thing.
Let's hear it, James.
James, you haven't even seen the movie, so I'm very curious.
I
to
haven't
hear
seen
what
the
your hot
movie,
take
but I
is.
have heard about the dude who broke up with his girlfriend over the Barbie movie. Here's the thing. The optimist in me is like, that's why. That's the reason. But the cynic in me was, that dude was looking for an excuse, and that was the excuse he needed.
If that's the excuse. He is really fishing for excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy, but
I saw Barbie.
People-
We need to break up. Sorry.
Yeah.
like, I really want to hear Rebecca's take on it. But but let me talk Rebecca right
You
now,
didn't
okay?
listen to the episode a couple weeks ago where I talked about it?
Boom.
Why?
Roasted.
Yeah, but people forget that movies and video games are art, and art is meant to move you. That is kind of the definition of art, right? And so if it evokes an emotion from you, then it did its job. You know what I mean? And if
Well,
it,
and,
especially if it inspired you.
Especially the thing about the Barbie movie too is it's very good at exposing holes in people's empathy and perspectives. So like if you're a man and you walk away with this kind of attitude about the Barbie movie, it's really highlighting like you are lacking in areas of perception and empathy where you are not really understanding a woman's lived experience because like I can't the movie highlights so spectacularly and specifically women's lived experience and men
that's
who are
something
walking,
that
men who are walking away from that who are just like that was woke garbage, like you're not taking the time to understand the women in your lives.
Exactly. You're not having conversations with them, really.
Don't you dare make me look at my life and introspect. I don't like that.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Tony. That's
I was
exactly
wondering where you
right.
were going with that, Tony. It was sarcasm.
You
It
know,
was.
That was
You
a
got it.
close one.
And another thing I hate about people who critique Barbie when their only critique is, oh, she's a bimbo and a slut. That's not Barbie at all.
no,
Barbie,
not at all.
Barbie is an independent woman who doesn't need no man. Like very specifically, she was introduced as a single woman with her own job and her own house in the 60s. Like that was revolutionary. And she
Exactly.
didn't have time. She's not a bimbo because she like Ken is optional, right? Like
Ken is an
totally optional.
accessory. Yes.
Yeah. It's all about her and what she can do in her own life and what she can be. And Barbie can be anything. Barbie can be an astronaut, a lawyer, a doctor. And not to say bimbos can't be lawyers and doctors, but like maybe pick a different adjective.
And I'll just say this as a guy who's getting a lot more AARP mailers these days.
You too, huh?
I've stomped on the Terra quite
Why,
a bit,
Gary?
and I'll just say this, gentlemen. The planet is made up of 51% of women. They outnumber us, and we should listen to them.
Here's the
we
thing.
should listen to them.
2023, I have not seen nearly enough people talking about this, but 2023 really highlights about how if you want to make money in any industry, cater to women. The Barbie movie's about to make $1 billion.
Exactly.
Taylor Swift's Era Tours is selling out like madness in every single stadium. Beyonce's stadium tours selling out in every single stadium. Like women will buy things. Women will attend things if you cater it to us and actually pay attention to our interests.
Yes.
Look at the
and-
makeup industry. Multi-billion dollars.
And as Bug Hunter points out, they live longer than we do, guys. So
That too.
keep that in mind. I've been advocating for years, let the women take over, and I'm still
And
That
hoping
was a
this
joke
happens.
about.
There's
That was
a-
a
there's
joke
a
about the
huge-
makeup industry, by the way.
There's a huge argument about how like Barbie Land in the movie is the opposite of patriarchy, and it's not. Because in Barbie Land, it's not that they're like putting down the men like they do in they're not putting down the men in Barbie Land like men put down women in patriarchy. There's more equity, and like the women are more independent and not dependent on Ken's and not forcing themselves on Ken's livelihoods. Ken can go do whatever he wants, and they are also welcome in the Barbie spaces.
That's great.
just
I love that attitude.
Yeah, it's not like specific matriarchy, but it's not the opposite of a patriarchy where we're just putting down the men like the men
Right.
put us down.
Yeah. All right. Let's turn to something a little
I just want to
lighter.
go to Barbie Land.
What did you consume this week? Who wants to start? Rebecca?
A lot of
I'll
McDonald's. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, you on that
Sorry, go ahead.
Facebook workout with the McDonald's? Go ahead, Rebecca.
Subspace Rhapsody, Strange New Worlds, 11 out of 10. Absolutely just chef's kiss, magnificent stuff.
Very good. Yep.
I went to go see the latest A24 movie, Talk to Me, which, by the way, A24 meeting all of SAG's demands, so they get to have their movies made.
Oh, good,
And
good.
they're a studio. Think about it. They're a studio that specifically does low-budget independent films, and they happen to be able to meet all of SAG's demands.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know there was anyone out there that was able to do that.
Oh, sure,
Crazy.
yeah.
I
Work
didn't
right
think
now.
there was any money.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I went to go see the latest horror movie from A24, Talk to Me, which is about it's an Australian film. I did not know that, so that was fun.
So it's actually called Talk to
Talk
I
to
can't do an
Me.
Australian
Was it
Talk to
hard
me.
to watch a lot of upside down people?
Yeah, it was totally upside
accent.
down.
When they flush the toilet, were you like
It went
wrong?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Into their butt. Neat. You used to have to pay for that.
But it's about a group of teens who get a hold of this hand that allows them to communicate with the dead, and it is, I will admit, it is another story that is like, oh, the grief was calling from inside the house, and
So it's like Frequency.
Sure.
Except good.
I nailed the reference, guys.
What? You
Yes,
didn't
you
like
did.
You didn't like the movie Frequency, Carrie?
Oh, it was terrible.
Oh man,
thought it
That's
was
just
cute.
me.
you and
I'm
I
glad
come
you
from
like
troubled
it.
backgrounds,
I'm
and
glad you like it.
This movie does the horror aspect really well. It's made by a couple of guys who they have a YouTube channel. I wish I could point it out to you, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
That's fine.
But
Two
they
dudes,
do excellent.
YouTubes.
They do excellent work in the realm of like horror and gore.
Horror?
And I had to watch like this a lot of the time. I could have used quite a bit more in the world and lore building aspect of the movie. It just kind of
okay.
seemed to do. It progressed without really explaining itself. But I heard in an interview with those guys that they would love to do more of this, more of movies in this universe, because they have a whole lore. They have a whole thing that they want to do that goes further into the history of this hand.
Oh, okay.
So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Meh. It was good. Good horror, but I needed more of the world building.
Okay.
And then yesterday I went to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
what's it
And
about?
Teenage Mutant
Ducks.
Ninja Turtles.
Plot twist.
I know. I don't know anything about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know their names, and I know that they're turtles, and like that's
Well,
all of my knowledge.
You know
that I
3
have.
things about them straight from the title.
Yep, right there.
Okay.
And I know they like pizza. But so I went into this and I was kind of like, oh, I didn't even know any, like, I've seen previous TMNT movies before, but like, I can't remember anything about them. This movie blew me away. The animation was astounding. The whole time I just kept thinking, wow, animation is so cool. Animation is so cool. And I wish they would do more like this. I feel confident in saying that I'm a Michelangelo girl.
Really?
That tracks. That tracks.
Everyone who knows me best has agreed.
See,
and
I
said,
used
"Yeah,
to be
that
I
tracks."
used to be a Raphael because I had a terrible temper, but now I'm probably not so much anymore.
Yeah. And
Oh,
it's,
you're definitely a Leonardo. Are you serious? Like that's
You
not
know?
even a
Yeah.
question.
Oh,
Like,
see.
come on.
yeah, and it's
Care?
really it's really funny to like, now that I kind of have a grasp on who each personality type, like everybody telling me what they are, like, oh, what a fun personality test.
It's like the Sex and the City personality test.
I'm a
And I'm
Samantha-
Kim
or not
Cattrall.
Samantha.
Yeah, I just watched that episode
Yeah,
of
sorry.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, a killer soundtrack. I wasn't really paying attention to who was behind this movie while it was getting made. So you have like Seth Rogen and Evan Goldstein and like 3 other guys who wrote this movie. And so I usually am like, oh, 5 people to write a movie? That's too many. But they know what they're doing, and they
It's-
absolutely did a phenomenal job.
It's apparently chock full of jokes, apparently. So
Yeah, it's chock full of pop culture references, which I wasn't really expecting.
I thought Mindy Kaling was also on the writing staff. Was she not on the writing staff?
She might have been.
Not that I
Or is
saw
she
in
only
the
April
credits.
O'Neil? Or am I getting everything
No,
wrong?
you're
No.
getting everything wrong.
I don't think that's
Come on.
right at all.
April
April-
O'Neil was played by Ao. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's
From The
Sydney on
Bear.
The Bear. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, she's great.
She
that's
did
April
great.
O'Neil. Yeah.
Killer voice cast. All of Seth Rogen's friends are there. And then music, the whole time, the soundtrack. I was like, this is a really good soundtrack. This is a really good score. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Yes.
Their names popped up in the credits, and I was like, damn, that's why this movie was so good. I have seen this movie described as Cronenberg for kids, and when you see it, you'll
Okay.
understand why.
All
But
right.
5 out of 5. I absolutely loved this
wow.
movie. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, our,
I had a blast.
Our friend lawyer Mike took his kids to it, and he said that they all loved it. He said he felt it was a little dark for kids,
It was kind of
and
dark.
and a little more adult than he expected.
But I saw it with a 6-year-old, and he loved it.
You just
So,
grab one off the street. Come here, you.
Yeah, I just grabbed him. You want to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
We're going to the movies.
I think it's just fascinating that this little, pulp comic that was made in a couple of guys' apartment buildings is now this long-standing thing that is generational and is going to go on forever. I just think that's fabulous that
Yeah.
that it came from a little black and white sketch comic. That from there, boom, this social, psychological, this whole zeitgeist.
Media
I don't know what I'm trying
phenomenon.
to say.
I'm gonna try to go see the Meg 2 this weekend
Oh, awesome.
because I love a terrible monster movie. And I read
That's what you're signing up for.
I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm signing up for. And I don't know if I've talked about it. I read the book that the first movie was based on. 'Cause
There
it's
was a
There's a-
book. That
it's
movie
There's a
was
series.
literature-bound
It is a
novel about
series
this?
of books. There
Wow.
are
Series of
multiple books.
Wow.
And
Are there
the
just
author-
pages that say shark, 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 shark?
But it is extremely obvious that the author has inserted himself as the main lead.
Well, yeah,
of
those are the
these
best
books.
stories.
Like,
All
You've
right.
read Game of Thrones, right?
yeah.
Which one was Germ?
So I'm hopefully going to see the Meg 2 this weekend.
All right. Who's next?
I'll go
Tony,
next.
James, Tony.
Carrie briefly quoted What We Do in the Shadows. I started watching the latest season of that. Just still firing on all cylinders. Just classic. Loving it. We're plowing through Twisted Metal. That's enjoyable. I don't care what anyone says. I'm
right.
liking it. Were you going to say something different, Carrie?
I will comment coming up.
Okay, cool. We started The Witcher as well, and it's unfortunately I
Witchin'?
feel like that show peaked in the first season. But on the same
With the
note,
bathtub scene. Yeah.
well, obviously. On the same note, I don't feel like the quality has gone down vastly or anything. I still enjoy it. I'm still having a good time with it. But the first season, I think, was definitely the best. Always Sunny, catching up on that, just amazing. Righteous Gemstones, also phenomenal. Now, I went and saw Oppenheimer.
Uh-oh.
Now, you guys
This
know
is
how
your-
I feel about Tenet.
Yeah, your Christopher Nolan
Did
hate
you-
is strong with Tenet.
Yeah.
But okay, before you talk, okay, we know you hate Tenet. Everybody hates Tenet. But what's your opinion on other Nolan films?
Oh, I love all the other Nolan films.
Okay, so
Which is why Tenet stuck in his craw so much.
Exactly. And you know what? After seeing Oppenheimer, Mr. Christopher Nolan, I forgive you for Tenet. I won't forget about Tenet, but I do forgive you. Let me tell you, Oppenheimer was absolutely phenomenal. 5
good.
out of 5. I was completely enthralled the entire 2 hours and 40 minutes or whatever it was, but super loved it. I was able to see it in IMAX at Jordan Commons, so it's not like a real IMAX theater, but it's pretty dang close because the screen is massive and the sound was just like, wow,
What SPF did you put on before you went?
35.
There's only 30 theaters in the United States
Yeah,
that
they're
do
the-
the 70 millimeter IMAX.
Right.
Here in downtown Salt Lake, they're showing it in 35 millimeter.
Which
At
is
the-
cute.
Oh, what
which
the
I think
hell?
is
That's
a
almost
cute,
half.
It's
That's
a
half.
cute option.
Yeah,
But,
it's
yeah.
the Salt Lake Film Society. They're doing it.
Yeah, God
I,
bless him.
I super enjoyed it. Nolan he's back, baby. He's firing on all cylinders.
Now that
again.
you have forgiven him, hard cut to Christopher Nolan in his house orb that's set in the mountains, and him in his Swedish or English accent. He's just like, I'm glad that he's forgiven me.
he's listening to the show. Oh, good.
Yeah,
What's
he's
that
listening
then?
live right now.
Tony is back.
Did you know that the script, all the scenes that are in color are written in the first person, and then all the scenes in black and white are written in the third person?
Oh, interesting.
It's too smart for me. That's too
I'll pay
smart.
attention
Shut it
for
down.
Last thing I want to mention, I found
Yes.
this. I came across this weird little indie movie on Amazon Prime, and I read the synopsis and saw that it had a high rating. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll watch it. It's 2007, called The Man from Earth.
Oh,
You guys ever heard of this?
I think I have.
So this
Tell
was
me.
this was an indie movie that came out in 2007, written by Jerome Bixby, which if you know that name, then you watch a lot of Star Trek,
Yes.
and directed by Richard Schenkman. I don't know, who that is, I guess, but anyway, it's got people in it that you see and you're like, I know that person, but I don't know their name. John Billingsley is in there. You've seen him in lots of stuff.
yeah.
Well, Tony Todd is a recognizable face, Candyman, right? A guy named William Catt, and another person that you recognize, Richard Rail. And then it's a very small cast. There's only like 9 people total in the entire movie, or 8 people. But it's this guy. Okay, I'll admit, the first 3 minutes, you're like, okay, this is a really low budget indie thing that sucks. Get past the first 3 minutes. It's okay, I promise. And then it's the story of a guy who is leaving town, and it's a bunch of his friends that get together because it's like a going away party, and they're all university professors. He is as well, and he's just like, I'm leaving town, and they're trying to get out of him. Why are you leaving town? Everyone loves you here. You're great. Where are you going? And he starts telling them a story about how he has been alive for 14,000 years, and he has to move on every 10 years or so because people start to realize he hasn't
That
aged.
he hasn't aged. Oh, interesting.
This has some pretty high ratings.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Holy cow, I loved it. There's no action, no anything like that, but it's as though you're in the room listening to the story with the other characters.
Is it like a stage play, kind of?
Yeah, easily could have been done on a stage. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I like
And it's
that.
called The
and-
Man from Earth.
The Man from Earth.
Okay.
Think of it, if you're a comic book reader, think of it as though Vandal Savage wasn't a power-hungry despot.
Okay.
That's this movie. Really cool. Check it
sold
out.
me.
The
You
Man
sold me.
from Earth on Amazon. It's on Freevee, so Amazon
Okay.
Prime or
All right.
Freevee.
James.
Been cranking workout, getting it done. Not working out, like work. I'm at work a lot.
Okay.
So I need shows that I don't. Yeah, I mean, you can tell. I know I come off as jacked and vascular, but I never watched Andor. Watched it. It's okay. It's good. It's
what do you mean
good.
it's just, what do you mean it's just okay?
You ever watch those shows? Well, here's the thing. So I stayed at work one night until 11:30, and it was during the episodes of Andor where they were in prison. And do you ever watch something at a time in your life that's a little too on the nose?
Did
and
you
it's like
Were you in
not
prison,
like where I
James?
work is
Yeah, were you in
jail,
prison?
but like it just left me with a weird taste in my mouth. You know, I'm like, I need to come back at this at a different time. But I've been watching, and it's, dude, and I don't know if anybody else watched it in this order, so I haven't watched all of season 3 of Mandalorian.
That's fine.
And I watched
You're
Andor, which is super grounded. Every blaster shot matters. People die by getting shot in like the kidney. And then like you go to like the first episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian where they're fighting a giant crocodile in Florida. And like, it's weird to imagine that all of this is happening in the same universe, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. That's why Andor's different and special.
and better.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason. Andor's really good. Don't get me wrong. I don't want the takeaway to be that it's bad. It's good. It's not
You
bad.
hate
good.
it, and we all know it.
Yeah. But my favorite movie doesn't have Jedi in it, and I never thought that was going to be a thing.
Yeah,
in
Fight
Star
Club
Wars.
doesn't have Jedi.
Rogue
so-
One has no Jedi,
Oh,
as far as I know. Right?
Well, there's
Well,
the Jedi Temple.
There's the guy who is like.
Okay, what you're saying
Yeah,
is proving
there's-
me wrong, and I don't like that.
no, I agree with you, James. That was why I didn't care for Rogue One, especially there was no space wizards. I like my space wizards.
I like it when there's
Like,
no
don't get me
space
wrong.
wizards.
Like the Sith scene at the end was kind of awesome.
Yeah, that was that was pretty cool. That was really cool.
Okay, there was
Because
that.
I
There
did.
was that.
I started Jedi Survivor this week.
Is it good? Are you liking it?
Well, it's.
Did you get a poncho?
I'm rusty, and so I kept like dying so many
Mm.
times.
Dude, okay.
You got to make
Rebecca,
those
I
jumps,
feel like you're like
otherwise
me.
you're dead.
You're like me, okay? You got nothing to prove to nobody. Go into the settings, turn it all the way down.
Yeah,
You're
no,
gonna be
that's
a
what I'm doing.
god.
My friend. That's what I do.
Sure,
and
you
I
did that.
still, Coruscant is a rough place to be, you guys.
There's only one piece of land on the entire planet. It's crazy.
Coruscant is a difficult place to navigate. I will just say that.
I have nothing for you.
Okay. I did. Let's see. Of course, What We Do in the Shadows. I'm keeping up with that. That's good. I took my own advice and went and rewatched because I said it was Oppenheimer adjacent. You can watch it for free on YouTube called The Atomic Cafe.
Oh yeah.
Which was
I'm gonna
it
watch
was a
that this
documentary made in 1980, and it's all it is old educational films about the atomic bomb, and Also footage of how the troops were trained to interact with the first test of the atomic bomb down in Arizona, New
Alamos.
Mexico.
Los Alamos, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And interviewing guys who were, your job is to run toward the blast. And there's a film of the Army people explaining to them, says, well, you've heard about this radiation, but you'll be out of there before it really affects you.
That's just science stuff. It doesn't make no sense.
The thing you need to worry about is the heat and the flash. That's really what you need to.
Yeah,
It's
for
just-
that 2 seconds. Everything after that, you also need to worry
Carrie,
about.
if your
that.
anxiety was on a sliding scale before you watched this and after, where did it end up?
It wasn't anxiety. It was just sadness, really,
Yeah.
because all of that. We were so naive about it, or we
Yeah.
were being lied to, which is what I tend to believe.
I mean,
I
also,
think it
yes.
was both. I think it was a
I think
healthy
it-
combination
yeah.
of both.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think too, like they didn't really understand what the effects were gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
and like there were still to this day like learning about how the atomic blast affected a populace, right?
Yeah.
Like we had no idea. They don't really talk about this in Oppenheimer, but they weren't expecting survivors, and so after the blast, when
Right.
you start hearing all these horror stories of all
Yep.
of the survivors of the blast, like. They got to try to tamp that down because they don't want people to think, oh, we just committed a war crime.
Yeah.
I binged Twisted Metal, got it done.
Oh, you finished
And,
it? I think I got
it's-
2
And is it
episodes
worth
left.
it, Carrie?
And here's the
You
thing
wouldn't lie
about
to me.
this show. It's big dumb fun.
Yeah.
And that's all it's meant to be. And I would
Exactly.
rather watch something like this than some reality show.
Yeah.
If I want big dumb fun, I'll watch this instead of a reality show.
And anyone that was expecting high art based on the Twisted Metal games, come on.
And it just made me fall in love with Stephanie Beatriz even more.
She's awesome in it.
She is. There's a new show called Children Ruin Everything, which
Is
That's
it
not a
my
new
life?
idea, though.
it's James. You're going to watch it and go, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's
I need-
it's got the actress who played the ghost in that the Ghost and the Werewolf and the Vampire show.
Being human?
Being Human, yeah.
The English
the
version
American,
of the U. Oh, the
the
American.
the American version. The
What
American
streaming
version.
service did you say you watched it on?
This was CW.
All right.
So that's Children Ruin Everything. It's quite relatable.
What's it about?
It's about children ruining everything.
I mean, I know that.
No, it's about these parents who they have 2 kids, and how
Have regrets.
they have regrets, but at the same time, one of them wants more kids, and
Am I the only
I've
one here
seen-
with kids?
I've seen couples
This is
with that.
refreshing.
I've seen couples
I like
with
it.
that dynamic in their relationship. One that's like, can we be done? The other one's like, let's have 3 more.
yeah, exactly.
Then you carry it and push it out of your body.
She's not
Sometimes
tricking
it
me out
is
of my
the-
seat
Sometimes
again.
it is the girl in the relationship that wants more, and the guy's like, oh, I've had enough.
Rebecca, I finished season 2 of Kevin. Kevin Can Go F Himself.
And
That show could have been 1 season, 10 episodes.
I agree.
feel.
I agree. They dragged it out too long. But what do you think of the finale?
The finale, that's the payoff that I wanted.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
exactly what I wanted to see. It's an older show, so I can tell you about it. There's this guy who is Kevin, and every time he's on the show, it's like the show's a sitcom.
Like King of Queens.
Like King of Queens, exactly. And he's an idiot and he's a problem and all of this. But it's in a sitcom, so it's okay. But it's affecting the real life of the people who are not, when he's not on screen, it's real life. And
Those are secondary character problems.
But then finally in the finale, we get Kevin in real life and what he would be like in real life, which
Well,
is an
because
abusive a-hole.
The point of the show that this is kind of a spoiler, but I don't know anybody who's going to watch it.
No one's
is
gonna watch it.
The sitcom portions of the show are her coping mechanism because
Exactly.
you also see the sitcom format when she's talking to her mother and Kevin's not there.
Yeah.
And so you understand that when it's in sitcom format, it is her trying to navigate life as a coping mechanism. But then when she finally empowers herself and realizes what she needs to do and is okay to move on, Kevin is there in the real world and he's scary. He's a scary asshole. And I've said it 1,000 times. This finale is in my top 5 TV series finales.
It really
It's
is.
so good.
And you could probably just watch the finale and not necessarily have to watch the whole.
Yeah, because like
show.
the whole 2 seasons, there's a lot of like stressful stuff. But like Carrie said, it could easily be 10 episodes, 1 season, call it good.
Exactly. I think you could have conveyed the message that quickly. Let's see. And of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I was watching it yesterday afternoon, and Sue said, "Aren't your friends coming over to talk about Geek Show in about an hour?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "Don't you think you should stop watching this so that your
Are you
eyes
gonna
aren't
be
all
done
red
crying?
and and you'll have to go and wash your face from the tears? Maybe you should stop watching it now." And I went, "You're correct. Yes, I
She's
should."
always looking out for you.
My finger has gone over that movie so many times, and every time I'm just like, I can't, not right now. But I
can't
love
watch
it so
again.
much.
I watched it a second time because my husband hadn't seen it, and now I'm like, okay, and now I never have to watch this movie ever again.
Here's the thing, James, and this is your dad talking to you.
I'm in.
Your kids, don't let your kids see it.
I won't.
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Not yet.
Like,
Not
one,
for
it's the
kids.
emotional stuff, and it would go right over their heads because they're not really good at speaking English yet. But also, like,
How are they?
the animal
Spanish?
part, I was like, oh my gosh,
Well,
this
yeah.
is like Saw level
Yeah.
imagery.
I would say that to anybody who has kids who love these movies. Don't let the kids see Volume 3 until they're much older. That's just me.
The theming behind the movie shows that just because you look like a monster doesn't mean that you are a monster. So it has like beautiful subcontext. themes
Also,
throughout
the message
movie, but-
of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
I was to say we're back to Wreck-It Ralph. Just because you are a bad guy doesn't make you a bad guy.
All
right.
chills. Oh, that was awesome.
Let's thank you all for showing up, everyone. Oh, do we have any games, Tony? Real quick.
Let me check here. Probably not, because everyone's afraid of
yeah, we do.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes,
Pikmin
it's all
4
about
came out,
last
man.
week. Which one?
Pikmin 4.
came
Oh, yeah,
out
that
July
already came-
28.
That already came out, though.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
talking about games that are coming out
I
this
just want more
week.
people to buy that game so I can get more games.
It's
Yeah,
all
you-
about Baldur's Gate
It
right
really
now.
is. There's nothing.
So.
Nope, there's nothing right now.
Does it play
Baldur's
pretty
Gate-
similar to the other ones? I assume?
Yeah, for the most part, from what I've read, I haven't got it yet because I'm still playing. I just started Larian's previous game, Divinity: Original Sin 2. But everyone I know that's playing it is having a complete blast. And yesterday or Friday, Steam, the game service, had 500,000 concurrent players doing
Wow.
Baldur's Gate 3 at one
Wow.
time.
Yeah.
Did you
it's all
see it got
about
optimized
Baldur's
for
That's
Steam
a
Deck as
lot.
well? So
I don't know if it got optimized for Steam Deck. I did read that it plays well on the ROG Ally for the most part. So
All right. Again, thank you all for being here. We thank you all. Thanks you guys for doing the show with us. James, thank you very much.
dude, I'm here anytime you need me.
We're going to right now take a break, and unless you're listening on the podcast, then we'll see you. We're going to take a break, and we're going to go to our Patreon only after party.
yeah,
Once again, if you're a member of Patreon, you can enjoy this, and I would suggest joining our 350 True Believer tier sooner rather than later. Changes are coming to the Patreon. Thanks, you guys. Live long and prosper, bitches, for the culture.
bye.